well-known one was by Francis Gauquelin of France, who did an exhaustive study on vocations and birth times. And he found statistical significance of people born with certain planets directly above them at the time of born, or to the east at the time they're born, rising in the east or just about to rise in the east. If people born had those planets in those sectors, they would have a higher probability of going into this profession or that profession. For instance, if you're born with Saturn directly above or near the eastern horizon when you're born, there's a greater number of scientists who have Saturn in those sectors of the chart than other professions. If you're in the military or a writer, you tend to have Mars in those sectors of the chart at a statistically more significant level than people who aren't in those professions. This test. He and his wife Francoise did this exhaustive study and printed it. And the various skeptical societies, SciScops, Centers for Scientific Investigation, which basically tries to show there's nothing in the paranormal at all that exists, tried to damn the study and couldn't. They claimed they did, but when you went back and looked at what they didn't at all. They kind of supported it. But the study still stands as being significant and still valid.
There's one research which is called the Gauquelin studies that has been replicated in several countries and is valid. But I knew Michel Gauquelin personally, and he was absolutely devastated at one point in his life because he showed his results to to people in various scientific places. MIT, went to Boston, he tried to get people to look, they wouldn't even read it.
The advent of humanistic astrology had a great impact on astrology's perception. With a greater emphasis on psychology, fatalistic viewpoints of astrology had decreased in popularity. Astrologers of today share a greater diversity and a richer understanding in their interpretations of planetary energy, with traditional astrology holding a more finite, black and white point of view. Astrologers of today recognize factors of suggestibility based on their readings of clients may affect clients negatively. As a result, a more conscientious effort is made to lead clients to more empowering choices.
With psychological astrology, not really, because psychological astrology would be a much broader umbrella term. Humanistic psychology is the wedding or the marriage of humanistic psychology with astrology, and it's similar to what I've been saying. It's a focus on the potential of the individual to actualize themselves toward an optimal state of functioning. It places greater emphasis on freedom of choice and one's own capacity to grow and heal wounds and move beyond old childhood traumas and gain insight into oneself and continually deepen and broaden one's self-awareness. So anything that promotes that is similar to what we mean by humanistic psychology.
This is what a psychological astrologer would look at. He would look for how these principles are combined in the chart and how the individual is likely to express them. How they express them in a manner that serves them and helps them accomplish their goals in life, or how these dynamics conflict within them and prevent them from accomplishing what they're trying to accomplish in life. You may have a tendency to behave in this way, or this way, or this way, to give the range of possibilities, as opposed to being very specific and absolute, as if it's fated that you are this way or this is going to happen to you, because it's not. There is a range of possibilities. So we've got to project a more measured, a more professional, an approach that allows for the individual to express themselves in more variety of ways that are covered by this subject than just an absolute way. In astrology, the character is destiny. Well, the character is destiny is a result of the choices you've made that defined your character. how you handle those hard situations, those challenges in life that showed in the chart. If you made choices that resolved the issue rather than took the defeatist attitude about the issue that you don't have a choice at all in the end, you're a different type of character. And you can find people born with the same aspect. But those who took the challenge and worked with the challenge and made choices that overcame those difficulties are probably what you would call stronger characters, and they have a more successful life because they achieved the destiny. They made the choices that gave them the destiny that was a successful destiny, versus those who took the victimization approach and gave up. Realistically, a person can expect to gain a calendar, if you will, a look at the future that gives you time frames when specific psychological dynamics and issues will arise in your life. And depending on the ability of the astrologer, you'll also get a list of possibilities that could happen during those times, how you might be tempted to react, and perhaps good advice with the anecdote on how you probably could also react and gain something productive, noteworthy out of that situation. So, for instance, if you're under, let's say, a Jupiter transit, Jupiter's coming to your sun, and that would indicate a time where you're probably you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of proposals made to you, and these can be very exciting. Well, an astrologer might say you're going to win a lot of money, or you're going to come across a good job proposal at that point. But maybe a little better astrologer, a more effective astrologer would say, during this period, it might be a good time for you to put out resumes, go to interviews, present an attitude of confidence, and opportunities will come, and look into them and make sure you pay attention to detail that the contract being presented to you is really favorable and it's just not flattering to your ego. So you're getting a lot more advice. But what the astrologer, all astrologers should be able to give you is a time frame of when these possibilities and opportunities are coming to you.
I will not make projections or tell a client what to do. I believe that what I do is add insight into their process, into what they are processing, what they are developing in their lives, what they're working with at any given time, their response to certain things.
Although the principles of astrology are universal, there are various branches of specialization. The most well-known and popular in today's modern day is natal astrology. Natal astrology focuses on an individual's psychological profile and individual life path, using the subject's unique time of birth, year of birth, and city of birth, charting the various stages in a person's evolution. Horary astrology is a branch of astrology that focuses on a specific question and its probable outcome and best route for action. It has fallen from popularity as it has long been associated with fatalistic fortune-telling. However, horary astrology held a greater popularity in ancient times, since accurate date of births were not known. Next, there is synastry, the astrology of relationships, how the energies of different people blend in relationships, partnerships, and friendships. Another area of specialty is financial astrology. As astrology is the universal forces of change, this not only applies to human events, but other entities as well. The movement of the stock markets can be anticipated with the use of astrology. This can also include the tracking and growth of certain financial investments.
What I've done is go back and look at every single day the market is traded since that particular market started, whether it's a stock or a commodity, or the Dow Jones. I've gone back to 1928 and looked at every single day, and I've looked at every single aspect that happened and tried to see, do they correlate with highs or lows, what type of percentage reversal tends to happen around that time, or do they even happen around that time. And I do a statistical, a quantitative study to say that, this percentage of time, this aspect is correlated with this average percent of a move in a reversal within X number of days. And so I've got it documented in all the books that I've written, that you can look it up as reference books, that if a certain aspect is coming up, you can go look at the last 20, 25 times it occurred, see what happened, and see the statistics. you know, how it measured, how many lows, how many highs, what percentage reversals happen, how strong is that aspect, and develop a trading plan around it.